we drove down to, I think it was Fremont is where it is. It's whatever the peninsula down in Newport Beach, that it is. AKA the little peninsula where all the houses are absurdly expensive. And it was like, man, look at all these places we'll never be able to afford.
Yeah.
And then there's a famous surf spot called the Wedge where it's basically like alongside this pier where waves just crash together and people just get absolutely launched if you surf wrong. So we were watching people get piled up on boogie boards. That was pretty fun. Did we do anything else that day? Kind of just hung out. And then the Clash was really fun on Sunday. So
nice. I saw a lot of people say that it was quite a good experience live. So
yeah, it was a good time. I was really happy it ended under the lights this year. I thought that was really cool. I was during the heat races. I was kind of like, man, there's not a lot of people here, but it filled up for the main event. So, which was still probably like 60 to 70% capacity at most, probably.
Yeah, but it's an 80,000 seat stadium.
Yeah, at least from what I could see, the front stretch looked like kind of barren in parts. I couldn't see the back stretch because that's obviously where we were sitting.
It's funny to hear all the people talking about like, well, Daytona looked just like that with a bunch of empty seats. It's like, no.
Yeah.
There's more people there than there were for a freaking Daytona
class. What else was there? Cypress Hill was Insane in the Membrane's a good opener, and then everything else after that was like, all right. They played a Rage Against the Machine song, so it was like, okay, you guys are kind of struggling. Wiz Khalifa, surprisingly good. I'm not a huge fan of Wiz Khalifa, but I was like, damn, all right, I'm kind of digging this. So
tell you what, and I know that Matt's not a big rap guy. The fact that you're pretty cool with, you were down with a Wiz Khalifa performance at Rocks, actually, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was more like what am I trying to say? Like Wiz Khalifa, I think is kind of basic lyrically, but as just like a jock jam, it's pretty good.
Yeah, something to get a little hype to, you know.
Yeah, I didn't expect Black and Yellow to go that hard. In person,
yeah,
so.
That's cool. That's so cool.
So it was fun though. Also, during the Cypress Hill show, Danny Trejo was just there hanging out. They just like introduced him, and then they're like, "He's here, all right." So, did anything else go on?
What was the reaction to driver intros?
They were mixed because, like, I don't.
They were bad.
Yeah, Joel McHale is like fun. Like, I get what he's going for, but I don't know if he like connects with NASCAR fans because he like light roasts everybody.
He needed to go back to community college.
Yeah. So it was kind of weird, and he also, I think, what was the team he called? Like, I think it was Front Row Sports, is what he said.
Yeah, he said Front Row Sports.
After the worst seats in, or worst sight lines in NASCAR. I'm like, buddy.
Yeah.
It's called the front row, like row 1.
It definitely seemed like it was either his first draft material or like somebody was like, oh shit, Joel McHale's doing driver intros. We got to write him some jokes or whatever, like scribbling them down to the last second. So, they were loud for the Hendrick guys, and so interesting thing, reception for Bubba Wallace much better in Southern California than it is in Charlotte, as it turns out.
Yeah,
weird, right?
There were still a lot of cheers when he got wrecked at the end of the race. We'll get to that, but there was way less booze than I was expecting. And also Daniel Suarez, very unsurprisingly, had tons of cheers also when we were there. So
that's awesome.
His team does a really good job of marketing him and like bringing awareness to his background and his heritage and stuff. So,
and then obviously you're in SoCal, which has a huge Latino population. So
yep.
No, it was a good time. The atmosphere was great. Beers were $18, which is a little absurd.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard waters were like $7.50.
Yeah,
that's not roommate. That's not anything crazy though.
Yeah, I couldn't remember
stadium prices. Like
my roommate left and he got like, I think he got like 4 cans of Modelo and like me a bottle of water, and he's like, guess how much this was? And I said,
it was like $60.
It was $70. So
oh my god, IndyCar race that I went to in Nashville was the same story. I got 3 waters and 3 Cokes, and it was like around that much.
Oh my gosh,
ridiculous.
I know like a water usually at like MIS or like IMS was like 450, and then like kind of your pops and stuff, and your beers are like 11, 12 or whatever. But
I always just bring it's either a crumpled up water bottle or I bring like a regular water bottle. I'm like, I have diabetes. I need this for my pills.
Yeah. So we took the train to the stadium, which was a mixed experience because like it was cool going into Union Station. Very cool architecture and everything. Super cheap. Ride there wasn't too bad. Ride back absolutely cramped. And we're sitting at the station in front of USC where the stadium is, and this I was gonna say dude. I don't know if it was a guy or a girl. Couldn't tell. Dude is a gender neutral term for me. This person like gets on and they're like standing in the way and they're blocking the door so it won't close, and the signal keeps going off like every 30 seconds, like the door is closing, and then it doesn't close, and people are like, what's going on? And then they light up a cigarette in the train, and this dude sitting next to them is like, hey, you're gonna set off the smoke alarm and then we're gonna be stuck here, like you gotta put that out, man. And there's like this weird tense standoff. He's like, we'll get you another cigarette, it's fine, just like, you know, we want to get a move on, I'm all for smoking and everything. And this guy, by the way, the person telling him to stop smoking, was wearing a checkered suit jacket, a checkered t-shirt, checkered Vans, a checkered do-rag, and had checkered sunglasses hanging on his shirt. So I'm 99% sure he was coming from like a Mighty Mighty Boss Tones concert from Santa Monica. It's this person, they like reach out the door and they put their cigarette out and then they just get off the train. They got on, lit up a cigarette, got told to stop, and then left and didn't even go down a stop.
Fuck, dude. What the fuck, dude?
And then my roommate claimed that I didn't see it, but he said that he saw people doing other things that I probably shouldn't mention if I don't want to get us demonetized on the train.
I was just
and in the bathroom.
You're all good.
I was so confused. That
You're
was
all
like
good.
genuine, real confusion.
You're all good.
So yeah, it was a trip. And then we were driving back from the train station. Adam was like, "Let's just pay for parking next time." So,
oh man,
yeah. Other than that,
It was a good
really
experience.
fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Hey, it seemed like the reaction was that it's more of an event. Like, it works well on TV. Don't get me wrong, but it seems like one of those. And we talked about this last week. Bringing races to and making them events is what NASCAR needs to do. Not necessarily bring them to city centers, which is the easier way to make them events, but bringing events to places is what they want to do, or what they should be doing to kind of grow the sport. Seemed like a good weekend to grow the sport. Heard there were a lot of USC students there, which my assumption is the USC student population probably doesn't have the largest group of NASCAR fans in the world. So,
yeah,
you know?
apparently there's like a student section, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, there was a lot of people with UCLA flags and people around us. Like when the UC or USC band, like I think they played the national anthem, guys were yelling "Go Bruins!"
Yeah.
So it wasn't even a college football game, and there was still a rivalry.
Can't wait to invite them to the Big Ten.
Also, want to give a shout out. So I've mentioned this before. There's another podcast that I'm a big fan of called Beef Boys. And one of the guys there lives in LA, and it's a small podcast. And I like jokingly posted in the Discord, I'm like, "Oh, I'm in LA. I'm looking for Doplex." And then one guy was like, "Oh, what are you down here for?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to the NASCAR race." And he was like, "Oh, I didn't even know there was a NASCAR race." And then he tagged me like 20 minutes later. He's like, "I just bought a ticket." And then like posted later, he was like, "I don't know what was happening, but it was pretty cool." So shout out to Milky Little Man on Discord for giving NASCAR a chance. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We love that. That's really funny. That's really cool.
yeah.
I don't know what was going on, but it was
Yeah.
awesome. That's like
He-
exactly what you want to hear, probably.
He picked the Monster Energy car, so unfortunately there's another Ty Gibbs fan out there, but you know.
That's
Oh, well.
okay. Hey, there's Kyle Busch fans out there because he used the M&M's car for all those years. So, you know.
Yeah.
They'll smarten up eventually.
Yeah.
So yeah, Clash was a great time in person.
Good.
So
Good.
Good.
we should probably talk about the actual race.
Well, yeah, this is the Fake Racers podcast. I'm Joe. That's Davey to my left and Matthew down below.
Hello.
Or if you were listening, Matthew was doing most of the talking there, chronicling his experience in LA. Davey still sounds a little funny. Davey's
What do I?
we're a little quiet. I don't know what it is.
I could have. It may be some of the settings that I changed.
That's
to get
okay.
my other. We don't have to go into it. We already had a
Yeah.
whole cold open. I bought a
Yeah.
headset. It was $120. It's the worst thing I've ever used in my entire life.
You should take it back. You should return it.
I am going to,
Okay,
but
alright.
I need a replacement before I do that. So I'm stuck with this for a little
Okay.
I was gonna ask. It's got RGB on it, doesn't it?
bit. Yes, it does.
Is it a Steel Series?
No, it's a Logitech.
Oh,
Oh, that's your problem.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I don't know how to make it.
Yeah.
Do you need me to be a little bit louder?
No,
mic
I mean
on-
it's
You guys talk about the
okay.
race.
I mean
have
probably.
Logitech ones, and I
Yeah, but
like
those
them
are like
very
older
much.
ones, and they're pretty
Yeah.
good.
They're
These are-
very. The microphone is so goddamn quiet on these, though. It's so annoying.
The microphone on this one, it sounds like I'm being haunted by a ghost
It
at
does.
all times.
It does.
Like there's echoes,
you wanna give-
and then if I mean, I could.
Yeah, I
We
think
could
you
try
should.
it.
I think at this point you
Alright,
should.
alright.
Yeah.
Fun little
Now I'm curious.
exercise.
I haven't heard this yet.
So now I don't do a lot of audio editing in the first place, so like this isn't anything new. Bad audio isn't anything new, but this bad of audio will be something new.
Headphone
so-
users, this is your warning.
This is your warning.
You guys, is it on my other mic?
It's
Davey's
can't hear
talking
anything.
and we can't hear him. He is still
can't hear
talking.
anything.
He just said what? In typical Davey fashion, he's smiling, he's laughing. He's
Maybe it just
having a
doesn't
ball.
work now at all. Is there like a mute switch
Oh,
anywhere?
now
on
he
it?
just muted his headphones. He does not know what's happening.
It's literally nothing.
So
Dead quiet.
yeah, there's nothing. You don't got push to talk on or anything, right? No, okay. Folks, this is the content you get on the Fake Racers podcast. Better, or I mean, not better, worse podcasts wouldn't give you this content.
Yeah.
But we believe that you should see us at our best, and unfortunately, at times, at our worst.
Dare I say, if you don't if you don't love me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best.
It's got to be that connector. There probably what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried to clean it with like isopropyl alcohol?
But now I can't hear you at all.
Oh,
So.
that's right.
The juxtaposition that we can't hear any of this extremely angry yelling.
I feel like this will make a good short, but also it'll be like dead quiet. I'm gonna put like the Charlie Brown noise in. Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah.
I don't know. YouTube shorts are a thing.
Oh, I can hear it.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, I heard something.
What? Whoa! Hey,
Wow,
does it
yeah,
sound
that sounds awful.
decidedly worse, right?
Check
it out if I leave.
So bad. Oh,
It's
no.
me. My name's Davey. I'm not a ghost or anything. I wonder how it sounds now. Does it sound really good?
It
Can you still hear me?
same.
Oh,
Yeah, I still
really?
hear you.
Hold on. Let me walk a little bit further.
Oh my god.
The
Okay.
other one could work
Here comes
across the
Bumblebee.
house.
All right, now
And
let's start.
then-
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
And now it's really bad, isn't it? I bet it's really good. What's happening?
It's gotten super robot and choppy. Oh my god.
I feel like this is something I probably should cut, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, no, this is really fun.
Yeah, yeah. All right. We're coming back.
With the good mic.
We're
Yeah.
coming back. Well, we're gonna get the good mic. Anyway, this is my brand new headset that I bought for $120. It sounds worse than the $80 one I bought 2.5 years ago. So,
What brand was the old one?
Logitech. It's literally a model older. This is a G533. This is a G733.
That's weird.
And this one, the only thing that broke is like if this little mic arm. I got to get the other head microphone, but this little mic arm, if you push it up, it mutes it, and if you put it back down, it unmutes it. But now when I move it up, it's the forever mute, and I no longer can speak. So
Oh.
I had to restart the whole headset.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, coming back to a podcast near you is my good microphone. 1 second.
But this is the Fake Racers podcast,
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Hey.
and we will never have a deal with Logitech to sponsor us, apparently.
Yeah.
No, the hell we won't.
I don't...
Logitech, your hardware sucks. Logitech, your Joe, I'm sorry, get your notepad.
Hang on.
Logitech, your goddamn motherfucking G Hub is like the most useless thing in the world.
Real.
I sat here and I played with it forever, and every time I messed with it, I'd be like, "Does this sound better?" And all my friends would be like, "It's the same." And like I took a slider and I moved it to the total opposite of where it was. I changed the whole thing,
and they just didn't hear a difference. The G Hub is useless.
I am literally begging G Hub to remember my wheel settings for once when I plug it in. Every single time I plug my steering wheel in, okay, because I race an NR predominantly, I have it set to only 360 degrees of rotation. And every single time it's set to 360, but it's still 900, which means that a full turn of the steering wheel is a quarter registered in it. So then I have to set it all the way back to 900 and then all the way back down to 360, and then it might work. And then I have to unplug it and close G Hub and then plug it back in and open it up again, and then it'll probably work. Sometimes it takes like 4 or 5 of them. It's a brand new steering wheel and it's never worked right.
You said G920?
I think so. I don't even know at this point. I'm not mad at it.
That's fair. I don't think my steering, my Logitech wheel is just sitting in my closet collecting dust, and it's not because I don't use it. It's because I don't use it because I don't have time, not because I don't like it. That was like one of my big purchases when I started JTN and we started like doing pretty well. It was like, oh, I can get myself a wheel so I can sim race and like, you know, get better and stuff. Because obviously you need to buy a wheel to get better, or at least a better wheel. My old wheel tried to burn my house down, but that's a different story for a different day.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Remember,
I do remember that.
Tripped a fuse in the house, all the lights went on.
Oh my god.
It's great.
I remember that.
Anyways, yeah. So it's just sitting in the closet right now collecting dust because I don't have time to use it. And I should probably sell it, but also I feel like the moment I sell it, it'll be the moment I need it. That's how things work.
It's real.
But moving on from clashing with Logitech products, I guess. Crash and Clash.
Logitech clash at the Coliseum. Let's go.
Crash and Clash. Truex takes home LA victory.
Yeah.
That's my headline.
I
Nice
didn't
headline.
really see that coming,
I
if I was going to be honest.
How did you not? He was fastest in practice.
I didn't watch practice, so.
That's true.
I was in the car. I was driving for 7 hours while practice was happening.
You know, Toyota as a whole was dog last year, so
Yeah.
Truex
Like,
didn't
I
win
totally
last
get
year.
it.
I completely forgot that.
yeah. I mean, Toyota was awful, especially at the Clash last year.
Yeah.
They looked lost. Big turnaround, obviously. A lot of the Toyotas were decently quick. Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace.
Yeah,
I think Ty Gibbs looked pretty quick as well over a long run.
this race the main event was weird. I mean, not weird, but like the weirdest thing I thought, that's Davey's ceiling. So Almirola got out front and just checked out immediately. Like that was probably the biggest lead anybody had all day.
So weird.
Clean air.
And then he lost the lead and basically ran dead last for the rest of the race.
Clean air.
And it was I was convinced he had like a mechanical issue, and then I asked in Discord, I was like, "Is there anything going on with his car?" And everybody's like, "No, he's just slow."
Yeah.
Apparently,
That
they
was
didn't
very
realize they were choosing.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
was
that
wondering about why he took the outside. It was so weird.
He was
So.
wondering why he took the outside too. He had no idea.
And then you had like Hamlin was out front for a little bit, and then when he lost the lead, he just kind of hung around 11th for the whole race. It seemed like.
Unfortunately, clean air still appears to be a thing for short tracks.
Yeah,
With the next,
you
gen.
definitely saw the cream kind of rise to the top at the end. Like it really did feel like the 5 cars who were all at the front, like obviously Truex, Preece, Bowman, Dillon, and Wallace were probably the 5 best cars there, and they were the 5 who were up front basically for the entire second half.
I mean, not like they could have went anywhere because we didn't really run a lot of green flag laps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at the end of the
God.
day, actually, you know, we'll get to the overall thoughts and opinions.
This clash was better at racing. I
Oh,
feel
I
like
thought
than
the
last
racing
year,
was
right?
Very good. Yeah, I thought the
Yeah.
racing was very good. It devolved a little bit a few times. I don't think there's any questions about that. Everyone knows, everyone saw it. But the actual racing was a lot better. The show was a bit better. It's a shame it had to suffer as it did with cautions and whatnot, but
Yeah, it took 45 minutes to complete 10 green flag laps
pain.
at one
Yeah.
point.
Pain.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's just it's so weird because like I don't know. We had some positive momentum with the first half of the race, right? Not a lot of cautions, you know, like we're just chugging along, you know. Bubba's leading it going into half, which was I was hoping for him to win. Let me tell you, that would have been funny. But I don't know. It's just it devolved in that second half, like you said, and
Yeah.
then it felt like they finally figured out, hey guys, let's stop doing this, and then it was like too late at that point to actually have any good racing, right? Because Truex had gotten the lead back at that point, and
Yeah, Truex, outside of before Priest had his issues, which we'll touch on more, like Truex was really the only guy I saw who consistently checked out as soon as they restarted.
yeah.
Like, I think he was far and away the best car in the field by that point.
It was a shame to see. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. You're good.
It was a shame. Obviously, I'm a Ryan Priest fan. It was a shame to see that kind of come to an end with like some sort of
Fuel pump.
faulty thing going on. Fuel pump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. So I think it was around the halfway break, I was saying to my roommate who I was there with, and I was like, kind of, obviously me being a Bowman fan, and he's hanging around like 8th there, and I was like, if I'm him, I'm just gonna like latch on to Priest's back bumper and just go wherever he goes because he's going to the front. And then sure enough, they were 1-2 at the end of that race until like 30 to go. And like there was multiple restarts where they both just took the outside and Priest would find a gap and then Bowman would just kind of follow him in there, and the two of them just picked their way right to the front. So
And they touched on this a lot in the booth, but that's Ryan Priest's bull ring, experience coming in. You saw like he didn't make a lot. A lot of drivers when they pass someone, they just kind of hit the hell out of him. Ryan Priest didn't really. I mean, he doored people, but he didn't run into the back of anyone really as hard as a lot of those other guys were doing. And he was moving through the field just fine. And Booth had a spot on.
He was making moves on the outside too, like on
He did a couple
restarts.
times.
Yeah. So,
him and Kyle were the only two that I think made moves on the outside pretty like successfully.
Yeah,
sustained.
pretty much.
Unsurprising, it's people who, race like Kyle Busch races a lot of stuff, so like he has really good racecraft. Ryan Priest's bull ring is really good racecraft, tight knit stuff.
Yeah,
no surprise.
So I mean, Priest's run is impressive, right? You don't want to go as far as saying this race validates, taking Cole Custer out of the car and putting Priest in it. There's a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of other stuff there at play too. The new crew chief with Chad Johnston returning to Stewart Haas Racing, which I think is a bigger story than people will realize. With Mike Shiplett, often like the nexus of NASCAR stuff or some competition role at SHR or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you got to feel pretty confident that, hey, we came to one of our drivers' stronger tracks that we expect him to be good at, and we performed very well.
And he was as good as we thought he was going to be. Yep. Like, yeah, it doesn't necessarily validate the move just yet, but also Cole Custer wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Cole Custer did run good at Martinsville last year. And his job still felt like it was on the line at that point.
Yeah.
Where else did he run good, Joe? Name like 3, if you can.
Yeah.
Well, you got me there, man.
All right.
I don't know if it caught on TV.
I don't think it's as much his fault as people are giving him crap
no,
for it.
I agree. I've said as much before.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure we're clear.
I don't know if it showed on TV at all, but Tyler Reddick was a goddamn wrecking ball in that last restart.
Oh yeah.
I don't, dude. He just like no F's given. I'm finding every single inch down here on the curbs, and I'm finding a gap, and I'm shoving my car into it, and I don't really care what happens.
Shout out to the Fox booth too. I think it was Clint Boyer. He like immediately Ross Chastain put one tire wrong, and he jumped on Ross Chastain for being like some dirty wrecking. And I'm like, brother, that like I don't know if you saw that piece that they did for the wrestling for the Friday Night SmackDown, because that's also on Fox. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Oh, I saw some.
They were like on opposite
it.
sides of whatever beef was going on, and it's like, Clint, that was a work. That was
it was a bit.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's
it's okay. We don't have to carry that over to the NASCAR. You already got enough people complaining about sports entertainment versus sport.
Oh my gosh.
I wanted to mention that. But Bubba Wallace, really strong run.
Had a great run. I don't know if he was the best car, because it was like I was saying, when he got out front, he wasn't able to kind of check out when he had the lead, but definitely
he's able to stay there though.
Yeah, definitely one of the better cars there.
Yeah, another big story is those many run-in. Well, that one long run-in with Austin Dillon.
Took like 3 laps for that to develop.
I was like, dude, they are dogging each other. And as soon as Bubba got in front, I was like, yeah, here we go.
He's gonna dump him.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I do not like that because I'm assuming you guys are in the same boat. Like, what they were doing comes with the territory of where they're racing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't set a good example for short track racing in general. Which, you know, we've talked plenty of times about that, about respect and blah, 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 blah. And I saw a lot of people talking about respect coming out of this race and, everyone drove with no respect. Well, an exhibition event race is the first thing you can throw out there. But moves like what Dylan did at the end are the ones that kind of, not as much as the bumping people out of the way first chance you get. I don't care. The track's hard to pass on enough already.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, something that some of the DBC guys brought up, and I very much agree, is like, you know, Bubba Wallace, when he was roughing up Dylan, Austin Dillon still made it around the other side of the corner. Bubba Wallace did not.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of where the line, in my opinion, gets drawn, is like Austin Dillon got shoved so hard that he could not make the corner.
Yeah.
And that is, I think that's kind of like that's the hard stop for me as far as a track like this goes, you know.
people throwing a hissy fit over Bubba. I think Bubba was the one that they were really talking about, but I know Denny Hamlin's got a podcast too, and apparently he was talking about headaches and stuff. I guess carbon monoxide's one thing.
Yeah, a lot of drivers
that was
were
weird.
coming out of the car gassed out, and apparently it's a pretty decent consensus that like those like rear bumper checks, like the way they were hitting each other in the corners, like they still hurt.
Yeah.
Which
I'm not surprised, if I'm being honest. So like the way material, like something like metal works is do you want me to do this?
Yeah.
Okay. So any material, you have what we call, oh crap, I'm missing it. I'm sick. So, but a stress strain curve looks like this, all right?
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. Nope. For the camera.
There's like an
it's
initial
opposite of
bit
whatever
of
I'm showing on the camera.
force that you have to
You
get
start
past, yeah.
right, you can get, and then once you get to like this point here, before you get into the curve, then you enter your your region of ductility or plasticity, to where the material can like bend and blah 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 blah. And before you reach there, it's kind of like, okay, if it doesn't, it doesn't, it doesn't, it doesn't. It's gonna keep its shape, but it can take that force and keep its shape. What my assumption is we're not getting to this point where the materials can bend, and then it's just force transfer the driver. So I have a feeling when you see these rear impacts, the car's going to be a lot better. It's going to handle that. It'll crumple. Like they made a very, very good a lot of good changes to the way the chassis is. It'll crumple with those bigger hits, but with little hits like that, where it's not little by any means, but where the force isn't as much as it would be backing it into the wall, it feels like it's probably,
if it's not enough to crumple it, it will hurt more.
Yeah,
than if it
because
hit
you're still
harder.
transferring all that energy.
Right, I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I don't know. Makes me angry. Is it? And then it turns into a materials problem, and at that point, when it's a materials problem, there's not a lot you can do besides build all new chassis and new materials for everybody.
Yikes.
Yeah, and you can tell that there's no give in the body panels, which I feel like that was where with the old car, where the kind of low impact cushion kind of came from, rather than the whole frame bending up, your rear bumper just kind of popped in. So
I mean, another thing that you can do to like help a driver is make sure they're in their seat, like they're tight in their seat, where they're almost an extension of the car at that point.
yeah,
But then you're getting into driver comfort, and it's probably not going to be comfortable to be like they're like a rigid plank.
Yeah.
For 3-4 hours. I mean, people don't already like sitting in a car for 3 or 4 hours, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we go back to the heats, RFK continues their woes.
Oh my god.
Not a single RFK car.
Dude, they were so bad.
That is crazy. That's really crazy.
Brad's comments were, when they got to the end of the LCQ, they were where they should have been at the start of practice the day before. So that was fun to hear.
He got outrun by Corey LaJoy. And LaJoy was slow. It was bad.
They beat BJ McLeod, though.
They did. They beat the Ware car. Dude, the Ware cars were awful.
Yeah, but the Ware cars are in an alliance with them now. So, does it count?
I'm pretty
That's-
sure JJ Yaley got
kinda
lapped
worse.
twice before anybody else got lapped once in his LCQ.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad it was. It was bad.
That's insane.
Yeah. I don't know what to think right now. A little frustrated.
It's so weird because that's not indicative of where they were at the end of last season. At all.
No, and that's the thing. Like, Brad was running better towards the end of last year. I think Martinsville, he had a good run. Phoenix, they were good, which is
Chris Buescher won.
Yeah, Martinsville, he was like P2 until he got DQ'd. So, I think he's like second or third.
Oh, that's right. He did get DQ'd from that race. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Oh, that's wonderful. I completely forgot about that. Wow. All right. Well,
Yeah, and like Brad was almost on the pace. Like he was getting outrun by Corey LaJoy, but LaJoy was kind of hanging on to the back of the pack. Buescher was just
Buescher was
nowhere.
bad.
He was so bad. I didn't know if he had like wrecked in his heat or something because I missed the first heat. But
No,
he
he
was
didn't.
just awful in the second LCQ.
He had about like 3 laps where he was up inside the top 5, and then just he got smoked in his heat, and then
Yeah. If we had like an award for stealing a name from an old podcast that I used to listen to, like Reject of the Race, RFK would have taken it 100%. Maybe I'll have to workshop that.
you can't if you go out there and you're trying to be you're trying to get back to being one of the big boys, which is like what they're trying to do.
Mhm.
You can't not make the race for a second consecutive year
Yeah.
because they didn't
You
make it
can't be
last
an-
year.
You can't be an A organization and not make it into the main.
Not have one car. Like if you miss
Also-
one, whatever. But
Ken Block was from Long Beach. Could have run the tribute scheme. That's probably worth like 5 extra horsepower. So,
At least.
Yeah.
At least.
although
That's
it would have been
what
more embarrassing if they DNQ'd with the Ken Block
yeah,
scheme. Yeah, no, it was bad.
But yeah, like I mean, Legacy got both of their cars in. Front Row got both of their cars in. I feel like I think we can start having the conversation about RCR being a solid B organization, so they're probably not fair to put in that category.
I was pleasantly surprised by how good Kyle was.
Really?
A little bit, yeah. I didn't really expect too much at the start, especially. I was pretty measured in my expectations. But I expected them to be competing. I didn't
Okay.
expect that. I mean, competing for a win.
You
Not
expect them to be
necessarily.
second and third.
No,
Yeah.
correct. It was. I was not expecting, them in the conversation for taking home the gold medal, as it were.
I feel like Kyle Busch, and I think part of the reason, 'cause the story is Austin Dillon was the one that vouched for getting Kyle into the 8 and all that.
Mhm.
I feel like Kyle Busch can get Austin Dillon to his like max potential as a
Right.
teammate.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Whether it just be, hey, that other guy across the shop, listen, everyone thinks he's a heck of a lot better than you. Or, Kyle's been in a mentorship role with a lot of young drivers through KBM and Toyota's development over the years. I feel like Kyle can finally get Austin up to that level that, he kind of showed when he won his Xfinity title, when he won his truck title.
Mhm.
And definitely like more because you see like flashes of it occasionally, like when he made the playoffs a couple years ago, and then it was like 3rd place, 2nd place, 5th place, like to start off.
Yeah.
Like if he can start doing that more consistently, then like they can definitely be contenders.
Yes.
Yeah, and there is a level of knowledge that comes from being inside an organization like Joe Gibbs, where like you just kind of know when things are right.
Yeah.
Like, there's just that you kind of have that sense, and it doesn't really match with the cars anymore because the cars are all new, but you still kind of have that within an organization, within a team. Like this feels right. This is what works. This is what doesn't. And I'm sure that Kyle is bringing some of that organization, some of those ideas with him, without a doubt.
Also, didn't expect to. I found myself rooting for Kyle pretty heavily in that race. I think I might be a Kyle Busch fan now that he's at RCR, and I don't know how to feel about this.
Good.
Seeing the car on
good.
track made me feel pretty good. I know a lot of people don't like the new font and stuff. I thought it looked good on
I thought it
track.
looked good.
I was
I
gonna
knew
say
was
it
gonna look good.
when I first saw it. I was like, "That's all right." Look, there's some kind of funky things, but just like on track, I mean, being there in the stands, you could spot it,
Yeah.
like from a mile away, basically.
People complain about the Penske scallops and the uniformity of Team Penske, and then they'll complain also about Kyle Busch having a different number font than all the other RCR cars. So
Can't win.
can't win. Kyle Busch also
Blame
talked.
Teresa for that one. So.
Well, Kyle Busch also talked about Joey Logano being two-faced because they were up there in the booth together during one of the heats.
Joey Logano, in typical Joey Logano fashion, apparently in an interview today, admitted it. He was like, "Yeah, oh well, I am."
I still actually haven't seen a replay of that.
It was a post-race quote from Kyle.
Yeah, I saw the quote. I mean the him getting spun out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Joey ran him over.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
Joey doesn't care, and
Joey
Joey
doesn't
knows
care.
that he doesn't care. And Joey knows that probably pisses him off.
Yeah,
I
it's-
think the thing about that is that
Joey
Kyle and Joey are like the same person.
Yeah.
And they just don't realize it.
No.
And maybe they do, but they still call each other an asshole, and it's great.
Like they
they're
have
like
different
two sides of the same coin. Yeah. So like they're both the villains. The difference is Kyle Busch embraces it while Joey Logano is like a pest.
Yeah.
Like that's the difference, I think.
Joey Logano is like the rich guy in the movie that doesn't realize he's like the bully. And Kyle's like your stereotypical, okay, I'm gonna pull your underwear over your head and steal your lunch money bully. Right?
And also, screw this guy who's the same as me. Screw this
Yeah.
guy. And like, fair enough, man. You know, they both have their own ways of embracing it. Joey Logano embraces it, and he's like, "Yeah, sometimes I'm kind of a butthole."
Well,
Oh well.
Joey Logano's defense is always, well, when I get behind the wheel of the race car, I'm a different person. Which, at its foundation, is the like BS race car driver speak that we always talk about
macho,
not liking. Yeah,
yeah, the faux macho
I'm
like race car dude.
Yeah.
But to be fair with Joey Logano, it actually tracks because he's a massive dweeb dorkazoid. So like,
you hear it when he calls
just
these
makes
races,
sense.
right? Like,
oh yeah, he's such a massive little dork, and like that just makes sense.
I think I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but when there was that thing in the race for the championship show where he got a call where his wife's contact name was "my hot ass wife," and it has the same energy as that Ninja tweet where he was like, "My braless wife brought me a sandwich not asked for while I was playing League of Legends." It reminded me of that a lot.
Yeah, it's very much like that.
Oh my god, I'm watching it right now. Oh yeah, he just
dumped him.
Yeah, there was no. He just didn't turn. He just took him out.
And again, like, yeah, there's some validity to being like, well, Kyle, you do the same thing, but I feel like Kyle isn't two-faced. Like, he's at least, like you said, he's honest about what he is.
You have a very good idea of where Kyle Busch stands with you.
Kyle Busch,
there are no question marks.
Kyle Busch will be a jerk to your face and not care.
Yeah.
Now, it might not be like in a, mean way, but he'll be a jerk to your face. Like, it was funny. They did they had the NASCAR press pass Saturday, and I was watching the interviews because I was bored and I didn't have anything else to do. And they had Kyle, Austin Dillon, and Ross Chastain as a threesome on the stage together.
Oh my god.
It was wonderful. They had Brad and Kevin Harvick together. Did not expect that one. It was weird.
Are they asking for like awkward interactions?
I don't know. They put Bubba and Tyler Reddick together. That one made sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
That was good.
I think they had all the Penske guys together too.
I just remember, I forgot about this. Runner up for reject of the race, Front Row Motorsports. NASCAR gets a special honorable mention for this when Todd Gilliland got spun out, and then they just didn't throw a caution until the last second while he was sitting in the middle of the track. And like everybody in the crowd was like, he's in a bright red car. Like, it's not like you can't see him. And then he almost got plowed by Bubba, and then both of their cars ran out of gas.
So, did you hear like the story behind that?
Didn't they like forget to fuel up or something?
No, they didn't forget. They were told they couldn't fuel up after the LCQ.
That what?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And they like missed it by a lot.
Oh yeah.
They were like 30 laps short.
Yeah.
That is bizarre. Were they the only ones who?
Yes.
Okay, that's weird.
I think because I know Cindric parked, but I think he was involved in something.
He got wrecked.
Um,
because he got wrecked in.
I was gonna say, what did Austin Cindric even do?
He took the provisional.
Invisible. I mean, all the Penske cars were just invisible.
Yeah.
Blaney got involved in a wreck early, and I think he had to go through the LCQ as well. I can't remember. And then, or no, he just like he got the last transfer spot. That's what it was.
He was towards the back, but yeah.
It was all 3 Penske cars. I mean, Cindric got the provisional and got wrecked early. Blaney got wrecked early, and then Chase Elliott's race was over when he got punted by Stenhouse because then he had to go through the LCQ, which means then he had to start dead last basically in the main event. And then he got wrecked immediately, and he basically just spent 150 laps, 2 laps down.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Loved every second of it.
Yeah, and really the only notable thing was that Penske did, like we were mentioning, it was Logano just flat out dumping Kyle Busch. So
sometimes it's okay for people not to realize you're there, you know? So
Yeah.
sometimes that's okay. Like Noah Gragson, it was okay that no one realized he was in the race, but he made the race.
He had a very quietly solid race.
Did he end up finishing top 10?
14th.
Okay. Well, hey, respectable.
That's so respectable.
Pretty sure
Honestly,
he
Briscoe
finished ahead of Ty Gibbs, so.
Yeah, Briscoe and Priest were really the only Fords that showed any speed.
Which SHR was really good on the flat tracks, as
Yeah.
they typically are, so.
Harvick was some real butt for the entire main
Harvick
event.
isn't good at flat tracks, so.
Yeah. And then Almirola, for some reason, just fell off a cliff as soon as he lost the lead.
A dirty air.
was
So
weird.
I feel like I've gotten a good gauge of our overall thoughts and opinions. We talked about this last week, this event moving. You know, we're going to talk about Auto Club here in a second, but talks about this being an event that becomes a points race. I'm not in favor of that per se. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I don't know if you necessarily need to go there if you can't have a race at Auto Club. If you want to move the Clash around, I don't know if you need a points race there in that market necessarily. So, but honestly, I thought it was another success. Everyone there had a fun time. You're able to get a different market of people. It's an exhibition race. Wish it paid more. Probably should pay more to go all the way out to California from North Carolina, but
Yeah.
that's like the only drawback in my opinion, that they go all the way out to LA and money.
So it was fun though. It was a really good race. I enjoyed it. So
Yeah, I mean, once again, unbelievably cool event. The imagery was second to none. Really cool that it ended at night. It looked really awesome. A success. By the time the main rolled around, like the stands kind of filled out a little bit more too. So there's like a lot of concerns in the heat races, just like there were last year.
What do you
It's good.
mean
A
the people aren't going to show up before the concert that they're coming there for in the first place?
Probably
well,
not.
so I heard. So we were talking to the dude on the train on the way there or on the way back, and he was talking about how they list the start time as 5. Or I should say
I was gonna
5
say.
Pacific,
Yeah,
which is
the main
3 hours. Yeah, they basically, like, a lot of people who went there didn't know the heat races started at 2, so they just like showed up and they were over.
Because they can't list. Because if they start listing it at 5, then you're going to have people saying, well, they said the race was going to start at 5, and this isn't the race.
Yeah,
These are heats.
it's just weird.
You're in
Like,
a
there's a lot of
lose-lose.
a lot of people who basically found out midway through Heat 2. They're like, wait, it started? So
Because the other thing is, too, non-racing fans aren't going to understand when you say, oh, heat races start at 5.
that means nothing to them.
yeah. So
You could say
was a weird
racing starts at
issue.
5, and
Plus, there's a level of excitement that comes, like, you arrive and you can hear race cars on the other side of, like, where
yes.
yeah,
there's a level of
Yes.
excitement to that, and I think that's cool. I think, as much as I understand, like, it would be nice if they marketed it like, hey, come to the heat races, but I understand why they don't. Because heat races means nothing to Joe
Yeah.
Schmo, not to Wansky, out on the street.
But I think if you're going to move the event, you move it to another place where there's at least a college nearby, and you go from there. I really do. I think that
The
doesn't get
college
talked
thing
about
really-
enough.
Really resonates with, like, that. That makes a lot of sense.
That does not
makes
get
a lot
talked
more
about
sense
enough.
than-
That it's
It makes a lot more sense than just, like, region, like,
everyone's
market.
everyone's like, oh, LA, it's LA, so it's our biggest market. Blah 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 blah. It's like, yeah, but you're bringing a race to college kids. I'm assuming college kids get a discount for NASCAR races now. Apparently, wish that was like that a couple of years ago. Anyways, hey, my student ID is good through 2025. Use
There
it
you
if
go.
we can.
Yeah.
But if you can't take it back to LA next year, or you don't want to take it back to LA and you want to move it around, find another college town with a stadium big enough that you can run this, and that's what you do. That's the formula.
Mhm.
Because there are a lot of really good college football stadiums. There's a lot of good just professional sports stadiums where you could probably figure something out.
Yeah.
With that being said, they the talk of the town is Auto Club's not on the schedule next year, while it undergoes its reconstruction, and people don't like that.
Boo.
Boo.
Again, land is valuable.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
And at least it's NASCAR selling the land and not someone coming in and buying the track to put up housing. At least
Yeah.
NASCAR's going to get the money, and hopefully they use it to invest in the track. We'll see if they do.
That didn't look like a confident face.
It's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, talking about discussing an event at the Coliseum, I don't think that'll work.
No, points paying event will not work.
No.
And like, where would you go? You know, like maybe you.
People
want
wanna go to Kern County or Irwindale, and it's like,
Irwindale, maybe. Maybe Irwindale. I just like what's around I don't even know where Irwindale is geographically. So.
It's basically right in LA.
it's in that area.
Yeah,
it would be considered in that market.
Yeah, Los
Right.
Angeles is like 40 cities all crammed together. So
Yeah,
like
Right.
LA is the central part. So Covina, which is where we were staying, is eastern part of it up near the mountains. And so Irwindale's kind of in the middle there. So
Right. And like I see some legitimacy to the Irwindale stuff, but I also, it's a short track. There's always going to be question marks about
Oh yeah.
what can it hold? Can it
Yeah.
handle an event like that? Especially a points paying event. That's way different than the Clash.
The Clash had a venue that's used to having 40, 50, 60,000 people.
yeah,
Exactly.
I will say
with
this.
with a track that's basically a Hollywood film lot
Yeah.
Yeah,
most of
I
the
was
time.
gonna say this about Irwindale is it's basically in an empty dirt lot. So there's room to build amenities around it, but it would have to be.
You mean put up tents?
Yeah, well, I mean, just like so you have your parking
No,
lot.
I'm
and
I'm joking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
but
mean there
like-
would be some investment. Yeah.
Yeah, there would have to definitely be a lot of investment to get it up to standard.
But then you're not promised another race, so it's kind of like,
Why would
Yeah.
you invest it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what place
One or
is
two
going to
events.
willingly hold a one-time event?
Rockingham.
Street race.
Rockingham.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
I was gonna say maybe if the like the Rockingham and North Wilkesboro projects go well, then maybe it'll spark other state governments and NASCAR to be like, hey, let's get these smaller tracks up to spec. But we'll see. So
Bring them to Long Beach.
that would be pretty.
I
sick,
would
too.
never do that.
I know they wouldn't, but I want them
Could
to.
you imagine a combo NASCAR IndyCar Long Beach weekend? Because that's all you'd have to do. You just move the race back a couple weeks and shuffle the schedule, and travel isn't an
Yeah.
issue.
Yep.
So
Imagine how freaking cool that would be. Oh.
you're still taking a
God.
race off the schedule, a road course off the schedule, then, right? So I feel like you can't add another road course. We're at what, 6?
Nah, screw it. Go to Sonoma anyway. Move it to the spring or something.
That's what I'm saying.
Green Sonoma.
Yeah.
2 Sonoma races.
I just want Sonoma to not be
Stop
108
that.
degrees.
Don't no.
That'd be
Not 2
bad.
Sonoma races.
Run it backwards the second time.
Yep. Run the carousel one time and run the short course
Yeah.
the other.
That
No,
sounds
it-
like my worst nightmare.
They should run the
It is.
carousel as a Joker lap.
Yeah, there we go.
I actually like that.
Sell
Great Clash
sell-
idea. There you go. You figured it
Yeah.
out.
Next to Clash.
I don't know if we can go very far with
I
that one.
honestly, with some of the crazy stuff NASCAR has been like, if to be fair, I brought up NASCAR at Long Beach. Imagine 4 years ago, I say NASCAR is gonna build a track in the LA Coliseum and they're gonna race a short track there for 2 years as the Clash. That's gonna be the new Clash. It's gonna be held at the beginning of February in the LA Coliseum on a purpose-built racetrack inside of it.
Also,
temporarily.
we're running the Daytona Road Course and North Wilkesboro's back.
Yeah, you would probably have the same reaction I have now to like the Long Beach thing. Okay, that's cool, but like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about, you idiot?
Well,
How'd you
again,
find my fictional NR 2003 schedule?
I'm just saying, in some conference room, that conversation will happen this year, whether
Yeah.
it comes to fruition or not. Probably not, but it's gonna happen. I want it so bad. Anyway, enough about my pipe dreams.
It can
Yeah.
happen. Happen.
I'm praying.
But nobody wants 2 Mile Auto Club to go away. I think that's probably pretty uniform. Put on a good race last year with the next gen car.
We've beat this damn horse to death too about it.
It's gonna go away.
No one wants it gone. It
Deal
just
with
sucks.
The short
Race
track
was an absolute slapper, but
short track's
enjoy
probably
it
gonna be
too.
pretty good. I think.
I hope.
But hey, check it out. We can build a 2-miler somewhere out in the northeast or the northwest. So
Yeah.
They won't do it, but
Or
just
invest
pick
in,
up-
and go to Michigan twice, please.
Just pick up Auto Club and like put it in Seattle.
And
Or
invest
go
in
to Michigan
MIS.
once. Or
Invest,
go to Michigan once.
invest in MIS, please. All I'm asking is for the awnings on the concession stands to be younger than me.
I just want working bathrooms, please.
Joe, come to
yes.
Daytona.
Yes. Please, I want the bathrooms to work. I don't want the water
Yeah.
to smell like eggs.
Joe, come to Daytona. We'll take care of you. We'll show you what a racetrack's actually like now.
I'm thinking about it. Thinking about August. Obviously,
If you come in August, I'll go.
yeah.
Deadass. If you come in August, I'll go.
I'll think
We
about
have a
it.
place to stay.
Aw. I'll fly right to you too.
Hell yeah. You can fly to the little grass airport out there. Like,
Oh,
down the
that's
road from my house.
yeah.
Like, little 5 minutes away from my house, a little grass airport.
There's a lot of airports on the up that side of the state. I don't know if you've ever looked at that, but there's like airports every 10 miles. It's great.
Yeah. If you fly into Fernandina for whatever reason, which you probably will not, but if you did, I could pick you up after work. I would just have to be like, "Hey Joe, I'm a 3-minute walk away. Come on over. Here's my location." It wouldn't be no picking up. You would see my workplace as you landed.
Yeah. Speaking of picking up, Kevin Harvick's gonna pick up a microphone officially next
Ew.
year.
I feel like for some reason I felt like that was announced.
It was announced like Adam Stern announced,
Yeah.
but
yeah,
not official. Yeah. I mean, it's a good move, right? You need someone to help balance Clint Boyer. That's pretty evident at this point.
Kevin Harvick is not afraid to tell him to shut up.
Kevin Harvick,
And
I
for
feel
that, I
like
respect him.
Kevin Harvick's the heir to Mike Joy. I feel like too. I don't know if that gets enough because he does
Ooh.
really good in play-by-play
Ooh.
for the drivers only
never
broadcast, and
know.
I feel like he could do it. I know there'll be a lot of sports broadcasters angry with that statement, which okay.
I mean, obviously, it's a confidence thing too. Kevin Harvick hasn't been in the booth that much.
Yeah.
Mike
Yeah.
Joy is one of the most experienced play-by-play announcers in the entire.
You're not
sport
getting
of
Alan
motor racing.
Bestwick back, folks. This
It's a pipe
I can
dream,
dream,
guys.
damn it.
It's not
we don't
happening.
even know if he'll be back for SRX at this point. We don't
Stop
know.
that though. Not that
I
one.
just-
That one I cannot hear.
It's on ESPN. I'm getting ready for Steve Levy and Sean McDonough, man. That's what I'm getting ready for.
I'm Joe Buck. Welcome to SRX.
Could you imagine Joe Buck and I don't know Connor Daly doing a broadcast
Oh my
together?
God. I just want Ralph Shaheen back. I know he retired, but I need him back. I need to hear him scream while Supercross happens again.
It's such a his voice is like. I
Oh,
will
it's
never
gonna be
unhear
Vince
his
Welch.
So
voice. Stop that.
It will, because he has his ties with ESPN. He's not at Fox anymore. It's gonna be Vince Welch. Oh my god.
No.
dude, I was so pumped when Ralph Shaheen got to do those cup races in 2009. I was so mad they didn't keep him on because I love Ralph Shaheen.
Ralph Shaheen.
Oh my god, it's
He
gonna
just
be
has
Vince
such a
Welch.
unique voice. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just hear it in my head every time you say his name. Joe's having a Joe
I
is
was
having
gonna
a
say, you look
crisis
like-
about Vince Welch. Vince Welch is gonna single-handedly.
Joe's
kill
a-
us.
The worst part
Joe's
is
over
he's
here
not
like-
bad. It's not that he's bad. It's just he shouldn't be doing play-by-play.
No, you're
Joe's
right.
over here
He's
like,
be on
oh
pit
god,
road."
we're gonna get Tom Brady in the NASCAR booth next year.
I mean, we already had that with Jeff Gordon.
Tommy would jump off of a bridge.
We already had that with Jeff Gordon. We
Oh
already
my
had our Tom
God.
Brady in the booth. It was
Yeah.
horrendous.
That's true.
Seriously,
Yeah.
I think and people just were blaming DW. They were just like, "No, it's Daryl's fault," and I'm like, "No, it ain't."
Nope. Jeff Gordon came up there, and guess what? Booth got weird.
Yeah.
Like literally,
God,
when
what
he
an
did, I
awkward
think he did
couple
Atlanta
years.
last year. It was weird. Like he did better than he did, and I think that was just because you weren't he wasn't doing it every week, so you weren't sick of it.
Yeah.
Man, Jeff Gordon, I don't like listening to him speak. he's kind of weird, right?
Well,
Jeff
that
Gordon
was
kinda
so.
sounds
That was
weird.
always the thing. If you go back and read stuff about like when Jeff Gordon first got to Cup and like why he rubbed so many people the wrong way, is because he was like so soft spoken.
Yeah.
Like that was the term I heard used to describe him all the
Mhm.
time back in the day. Was how soft spoken he was, and that's not a very good trait if you're in the booth.
Again,
No.
Jimmie Johnson is the evolution of Jeff Gordon.
A little bit, yeah, I can see
I
that.
didn't-
Put that
I didn't.
in
I
your
didn't-
think tank.
I-
because Jimmie Johnson's still very soft spoken, but he's entertaining
Yeah,
and good because he did really good announcing. By the way,
I like this is not my bias showing. I like Jimmy in the booth when he was in the booth. It was quite good. I think if he had like the confidence to, it was almost like he didn't know that he was about to commentate on a race.
I'm pretty sure he
But,
did.
like-
Honestly, I don't
But
think any of those
he
guys
still
did.
kind of did it. He still kind of like went with it, you know.
They had him on the little like the hit pieces. Like they had him at the desk there between the heats or the LCQ or between the prelims and the main or whatever it was, and
Yeah.
that's great. Jimmie John, he announced too during that he's going to run the Chicago Street Course, which that seemed pretty obvious, right? Like
that's awesome.
Yep.
that event has a Jimmie Johnson written all over it.
That's right.
Davey wants to go, but I don't know if he wants to pay $269 for a general admission ticket.
Oh, I don't. I don't want to do that. You're so right, actually. How'd you know?
I'm very upset with the whole NASCAR Chicago thing and how expensive it is. And also people not realizing what's baked into the price. Because there's like 3 pretty good concerts too.
Mhm.
Which again, it goes back to this event thing. And the reason why I'm not going is the event thing isn't necessarily for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I went to the Indy 500. I got nowhere close to the snake pit. That is not me. Right?
I want to see Joe in the snake pit. I want to bring Joe to the snake pit. Joe just going.
If you buy
hard
the
with some
ticket, I'll
EDM.
go. Because then I'll be at the Indy 500. But I ain't buying myself a ticket.
Joe is like off his ass listening to EDM in the snake pit at Indy.
Oh yeah.
You guys I'm sorry, I'm going on too many tangents. I'm too tired to go on tangents, but every year the Indy 500 Pictures Twitter account comes back alive for the Indy 500, and it's just a bunch of pictures of the aftermath of the snake pit and the grandstands, and it's like drunk people just absolutely gone in various positions that they should not be in. Like it's like a week of just photo dumps, and it's the greatest Twitter account to ever exist. I love it.
You have to
I
go to the Indy
adore it.
500 if you get the opportunity. Just saying. But Chicago Street Course, if it's an event, that's fine. I don't care about the ticket price. It's not for me. Whatever.
Someone will pay it.
And that's
Yeah.
okay. And people need to realize that's okay. Because guess what? There's 35 other races. Does it suck
Yeah.
for the people in Wisconsin and Illinois and Iowa and those Minnesota that don't get their race at Road America that they liked? Yes, it sucks. But guess what?
Yeah.
Road America shouldn't have that race in the first place. Should have been at Michigan. Anyways,
I just want to say that Joe's remarks do not represent
No, they
that
don't.
of the Fake Races podcast.
I'm still mad that they took a race away from my track. Let me tell you. Still mad.
It's just that like regional
Daytona's
rivalry
fine.
just rearing its head
Daytona
again.
ain't nothing wrong with Daytona. Everyone likes Daytona.
You guys want to go to Sonoma and just be on fire the whole time?
Drink wine and be on fire. Yeah.
They really
Yeah.
need to move that. That should be the road course in the playoffs. Is Sonoma.
They ran out of
You
water
are
in 2017, by
They-
the way.
That is dreadful. Oh my
It
god.
sucked. I drank so many cans of free Monster. You don't understand. I needed sustenance.
Man, I miss when energy drinks sponsored the sport more.
Yeah.
Like not just Monster. All them free energy drink cans were something.
Crazy part is
So-
the biggest energy drink sponsorship. That company ain't even around anymore. That brand isn't, at least.
Wait, which? Oh, Amp
Amp.
Energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking, I
Um,
was like, what energy?
It is
drink
just
shut down?
it's like Mountain Dew Amp, and it's like
yeah, it's like
hey, it's Amp, but it's Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew,
Mountain Dew.
everybody. It tastes
Yeah.
like Amp if you remember that, you idiot. But it's Mountain
it's Mountain
Dew.
Dew.
so
No.
Yeah.
that's
It's
what
like
it is. It
Starry.
tastes- by the way, it tastes really good. I love Amp. It's a shame it's gone.
Kyle Busch got arrested in Mexico.
I thought that was a joke when I first read that. And I was like, how did he get arrested? I'm like, I'm still at the Coliseum. Like,
is
there's no way he got to
funny.
Mexico from here faster than I got to the train.
Crazy
Like,
part is people figured it out before the article came out.
Yeah.
By far the funniest thing that I think has happened ever. I think it's hilarious. There's a lot of people turning it into like a gun control thing, and I get that. We're not going to go down that route because I just think it's funny. So
Yeah.
I just think it's really funny.
The only thing on that I will touch, as when I say hunter, I mean I have a hunting license and I own a rifle, but I don't I've shot it once ever. And as somebody who lives with somebody who has a CCW, when he says he forgot it was in his bag, I am willing to bet what he meant to say, or what he means is that he forgot that he had to clarify that it was in his bag, because when you have a CCW, it just shows up on your record. So, and like they said, I didn't even know guns were banned in Mexico. It happens. He paid the fine. Who cares?
Yeah, but what about the 3.5 years jail time?
Yeah, well, just don't go back to Mexico.
I assume he's just gonna pay off the sentence because
Yeah.
Which probably won't be allowed in Mexico anymore. And oh boy,
Yeah.
Hopefully
Oh, no.
NASCAR doesn't race there.
He's gonna go to some other vacation spot that I'm certain he can afford.
Yeah.
Oh boo!
So
Gonna go
And
up to
that-
Manitoba.
Bahamas.
that was the other thing too. Is like, wow, man who participates in a sport based mostly out of the Southeast also has a fascination with guns. Who could have seen that coming?
From Nevada, from Nevada, which
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, a lot of people
Also-
own guns in Nevada.
Redneck Central, yes.
Yeah, people suck. This weekend taught me that
So.
people suck because like people didn't like the Clash there for when all those costumes were coming out, and then all of a sudden it was go back to Daytona. Now it's like Kyle Busch shouldn't be in the 8 car because he doesn't.
Go back. Hold on. Time the goddamn hell out.
Yeah,
Go back to Daytona. Let's talk about the go back to Daytona argument for like 5 minutes. What are you talking about? What do you mean go back to Daytona? I reckon too much, and now we go back to take it back to Daytona.
they're
Take it
gonna
back
wreck
to Daytona.
anyways.
Yeah.
Do you
Let's
remember the last Clash at Daytona? What that looked like?
The last
Denny
two.
Hamlin didn't have a front end, and then pushed
Wait,
another car without a
wait.
front end. Eric Jones to a win. No
Oh, it's
car
right
at
there.
the end of that race.
It's
They
right,
also-
it's hard to see, but
Damaged.
the car's
Everyone
right
wrecked.
there.
They
Check
also
it
Everyone
from
was
the bottom.
pissed.
There it is.
What do you mean? Bring it back to Daytona. They're wrecking too much. They wrecked too much at Daytona.
They also had 4 straight restart. No, I think it was 5 where they didn't complete a lap without wrecking. And then the year before that was the race where everybody except Jimmie Johnson wrecked on the final lap.
Because Jimmie Johnson caused the wreck.
Because, yeah.
Damn Skippy. And also, just what are you talking about? Like, get a grip. Like, what? How short is your memory? I don't understand it.
I loved the there's a tweet I saw where somebody's like, take it back to the Clash, it was so much better, and it was 4 screen grabs of the whole field just junior lining. Just everybody single file around the outside.
And so help me God if someone says, "Oh, bring it back to Daytona Road Course." Shut up. 10 people showed up to that damn race.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing shouldn't have been on a Tuesday night.
Looked like a damn Ferrari club race.
It was
bad.
like
Shut
yeah, it was like a fun race, but nobody showed up to it, yeah.
Did they run that
God.
race before qualifying? Right, they ran qualifying the
remember.
next night because I think we did. That was our first
so.
live qualifying.
Yeah,
Fake
that
Racers
next
podcast, which guys next
day
week
or-
Wednesday, live Fake Racers.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez, yeah. Damn.
That's
Oh,
next
yeah.
week. Tradition, even though it's a bad tradition, and it's only to get us views.
It sucks. It's stupid.
It's
but
awful.
We like it.
But it's fun because then we get to talk about every driver. So
Really,
you know.
really pitching the video, Joe.
Well, here's the thing: people are going to watch because the title of the video will have Daytona 500 qualifying live in it.
That's right.
So
We got like 400, not concurrent, like 400 people looking at the stream the first time we did it. Like we're nobodies now, but this was back when we were like hyper nobodies, and we were like, we're
doing
we're
something
scamming
right.
these people.
We're doing something right.
We scammed.
Oh my God.
It got announced today that Zane Smith is to run 7 Cup Series races, 6 of which will be in the 38 car, with the 7th being the Daytona 500 and a 3rd entry for Front Row, which we already knew about. I have in our doc, and I'm not going to show these to people at home because they don't actually illustrate as well of the point. But I have Todd Gilliland's finishing positions throughout the season, and Michael McDowell's finishing positions throughout the season, and they're different, But Todd's a little more
Ish, yeah.
consistent.
Yeah, that
Spread isn't as wide. And it makes
This
no
is
sense
just-
to take him
it's
out of the
just
car for 6
weird.
races.
it's so late into the off season too.
Well, I have a feeling they already knew this, and they were
Yeah.
able to keep it under wraps because it's front row and it's not Hendrick Motorsports.
It's just weird because like Todd wasn't great last year, but I felt like it was a pretty solid rookie year.
And he was
like,
improving
yeah,
all year. Like if you look at those, there's a couple outliers at the end, but you see improvement. You see these finishing position with this being 1, this being 30, goes
Yeah.
down. I don't know. It's frustrating.
Quick theory: is David Gilliland still involved with Tricon Garage?
Yeah, he owns it.
Okay, I didn't know if he had sold the team and that's why they I couldn't remember or not.
What a dumb
So
name.
maybe that has something to do with it because of the Toyota connection.
Yeah, but that's pretty dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
not
just
not a
weird.
dumb thought. Like I'm not saying like
Yeah.
you're dumb.
It-
But if,
yeah,
that's,
it would just
if that's the reason, that's dumb. Okay, let's just. I've been told that I don't treat my employees very well on camera, so
Oh my god.
unprofessional.
That
some
that
would
was the
say.
only thing I could think of is like, I don't know, because it's not like Ford's not paying up to get Zane Smith in there because like he's a stud. So
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just weird. So
Um,
sucks for Todd, but it is. What
it's
it is.
just weird. It's just like why?
Yeah.
I think it's like probably the front row is still, in the grand scheme of things, a new team as far as like when it comes to the mid-pack battles. Decisions are not always going to be the best ones.
Yeah.
And it's not like Zane's like this isn't like you're having a pay driver in. Like I don't see Zane as a pay driver as the same as I see like Joe Graff Jr. getting it in the 18 car in Xfinity for 5 races, which we're not going to talk about, but awful.
Yeah.
I watched that man not qualify at Michigan in an RCR car in Xfinity. So just saying.
Didn't he do that twice?
That's awesome.
He also did it at Iowa,
Yeah.
like a couple weeks
That
later.
rocks. Very funny.
The Michigan one's funnier though because again, that's the Michigan's more car than anything. But anyways, back to what we're talking about. Todd Gilliland doesn't deserve to not be in the car for 6 races. He doesn't like. This is just a side effect of hey, Zane Smith probably got an offer from like Chevy or Toyota or someone to hey, you can move up to Xfinity, or you can stay, or you can be on our truck team, and we're gonna get you like 4 Cup races.
Yeah.
And Ford was like, "Oh crap, we don't really have anyone in the pipeline. We want to keep this guy. He just won the truck title with Front Row Motorsports."
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what I see it as.
Yeah.
They lost Taylor and Tanner Gray, too. That hasn't been talked about a lot, which I don't know if it's worth noting, but it's something. Because they're both still with Tricon.
I hate this. I hate this discussion. Let's move on to something fun.
We got a light week,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but we've been here for like over an hour, so I think we did pretty well. Now there's some shenanigans at the start that I'm gonna have to
We
cut.
find the content. We find the content.
We find the content. We like Davey testing a mic that we know doesn't work, but just showing you guys at home in case you didn't
Yeah.
believe us.
Well, it had to be done.
It had to be done.
Yeah.
Again,
Did it actually?
no.
Up to you.
The
Well-
comments were full of like, but what about Davey's new headset? So we
Yeah.
had to give him the.
Yeah, the comments were
the fix
full.
on that.
It's we gotta do it for the fans.
Only freaking
Literally
comment we got was comparing us to the
inundated.
Three Stooges, which, by the way, awesome. Love
Yeah.
it.
I mean that rocks. So
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
We enjoyed that one internally.
correct,
Um,
dude. You want to know something crazy?
Hmm.
I have to poop. Let's wrap up. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I mean, like, I do have to poop, but
well, okay, so next week I need to write a note real quick so I can cut that out because that crosses a line, Davey.
there's a lot of things we have said that have crossed way more line than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but fecal matter, you know.
I'm not bringing you with me.
I know. We're gonna be live next week on Wednesday for Daytona 500 qualifying. That's gonna kind of replace our normal episode, or at least that was my plan. I need to talk with these guys about that. But you know, hey, there's nothing going on this weekend, so it's not like you're gonna miss talking about anything because we kind of got it all now.
Right.
Make sure you're following us on our social media at Johto Network. on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're posting shorts. We're posting clips of this show. If you're watching us on YouTube, you're watching us on JTN too, so make sure you're subscribed here as well as the main JTN channel. That'll be linked in the description below too. If you're listening to us on Anchor or whatever, so Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, like, rate, and review. Guess that helps with the algorithm. Be much appreciated. Even if you only give us a star, we still like it. Because 1 is better than 0.
Please give us more than 1, but
the pitch is to give us 5. But if you don't,
we'll take down to a 3.
Yeah,
we'll haggle. So
yeah, we feel like we're a good 3-star motel.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, doing those things, following us on social media, liking posts, videos, whatever. That does do a lot to help support us, help grow this, which we continue to try to do, and we're really working hard at it, even though sometimes it doesn't seem like it, like tonight where we decided to show you all of our technical snafus. But and also, I think Davey's audio is going to be really quiet on this podcast, which is no fault of his. It's all on me. Anything that goes wrong is my fault.
I don't know if that's true.
It is. No, I mean it. Like this isn't sarcastic asshat Joe. I'm true. So remember you to also follow at Fake Racers for more podcast centric content. We'll see if Davey can keep those posts up or if I have to take that over too. That was asshat Joe.
Just catching strays.
I'll allow
there.
it only because of my bowel movements.
Davey's socials are down below. Matt's socials are down below. Can't thank you folks enough for watching. Davey's got to poop, guys. Davey's got to poop.
No, I'm okay. At Davey Hazard on Twitter. At D7H5 on Instagram. At D7H5er on Twitch.
I'm leaving it in.
Do it. Leave it in. It's funny. It's funny.
Matthew, you're at msteelman51 on Twitter.
I would not recommend following me though. So
you can also follow him on various art websites. But you have to follow him on Twitter first.
You're gonna have to figure that one out yourself.
Yep.
Do some digging.
Dig. Anyways, thanks folks. Thanks for watching. Hope we see you next week live. Make sure you drop in, say hello. We will be live. We'll be on
going to be live.
We might be on the main JTN channel too.
I'm down. Main JTN rocks. Let's do it.
Main JTN's where all the subscribers are.
I wasn't gonna say that part out loud.
But it's true. So we hope you tune in. We hope to talk with you next week. If we don't, enjoy the Daytona 500. Enjoy Xfinity. What's for dinner? 300.
It's what's for dinner.
The next year, Energy 250.
More the meatloaf.
The we want it now. Vacations duels.
Hey, I have a good joke to end the podcast.
And Kroger Daytona 500 pole qualifying. Davey's joke to wrap us up, and then we'll get out of here.
What do you guys call 2 guys fighting on the ground?
God.
Ground beef.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.
Good night.
Bye.